myself Santhosh. I do have around 9 years of experience working in IT industry, and currently I'm working as manager in Microsoft. My core experience is towards data science, data engineering, and data analytics project. Currently, I'm managing around 8 projects, and total I have worked with around 80 projects from different domains such as banking, healthcare, insurance, e-commerce, and retail. And I'm a certified trainer taking training for KSR for the last 5 years.
Right. In the last class, I was not able to greet each and everyone. So I thought of writing one function and I thought, okay, let me use this function to whomever comes, we can greet them, correct? And after that, if you're not learning how to add two numbers, then it's not at all a programming language. So we have taken a simple example of this adding two numbers. So we've taken a equal to 8, b equal to 2, c equal to 8 plus 4, and print of c, you were able to get to add two numbers. Again, I want to add two more numbers. Again, I've written again. Now, this is not the way to write it. So I have used a method, that is, I have simply used the add function that I have defined. Def stands for defining. And after that, I need to give a function name. So I've given add and I'm sending a parameters a comma b. Whatever you send a comma b will be added and will be stored in the C. And then we are going and printing it, right? Now, if I go and write here, right, this is not the hard-coded value, right? This is not the hard-coded value. So imagine we will try to achieve in a even more better way. Okay, we'll take this example, a equal to 40, and I'm checking with the if condition. If 40 is greater than 35, yes, it's obviously pass. If it's less than 35, obviously it's fail. I don't want to hard code like this. I don't want to hard code like this. So we have defined a function called pass fail, which accepts a parameter that value what you send, whether you send 89, you send 34, or you send 35, or you send 36, that value will go here and it will be checked in this if condition and it will going to work, right? I'm going to make even more better. Okay, so I'm going to delete all this. See, I'm not going to write like this. Okay, pass fail 35, pass fail 36, pass fail 34. I'm not going to write like this. So let me delete all this. Let me delete all this. Now carefully observe. I am going to accept the, see, if I give pass fail of 35, pass fail of 36, I'm accepting the value beforehand only. But what I want to do, I want to get the data in the runtime. So what I will do, first I will write print statement and I'll say enter the marks. First I'll say enter the marks. Okay, then what I will do, I will say a equal to, just observe carefully, int of input. I've written one statement. Okay, I've written one statement, int of input. After I write the statement, that means I am going to collect the information from the user in the runtime. Okay, now let's see what happens. If I go and run this, it is going to ask me the marks to be entered in the runtime. What is runtime? I'm executing a code. Suddenly I want to give some input and I'm going and giving. Now, if I give something, let's say 56 or 67, nothing is going to happen because I need to write a logic. And that logic is once you get the input, A, you simply go and call this function. You simply go and call this function. Now, all these days, what I used to do, maybe I used to give a 67 like this. I used to give a 67 like this. Let me restart the kernel because I opened now. I think the function does not exist. So let me run this. Now I'll go and execute this. Yeah. So if you see here, 67 I'm giving, the student is pass. 32 I'm giving, the student is fail. 29 I'm giving, the student is fail. 39 I'm giving, the student is pass. Now I'm going and changing directly in the A, which is not good. Let me accept the input from third party. That is, let's say you come and sit in my system and you want to enter some data. You don't want to make changes directly in the code. Instead, you accept the parameter. So what I'm going to do, first, I'm going to tell them, hey, please enter the marks. And in the A equal to, rather than giving 35, 45 or a 55, I am going to tell input. I'm going to tell input. Let's see what happens. It is asking the marks. You directly go and enter the marks and you enter it. And for the entered marks, it says that the student is pass. You again go and directly run that line, three piece of line. It is going to ask, enter the marks is why it's printing, because I've written in the print statement, right? And it is actually a text box is open for me where I need to enter. You have to enter something because clearly the indication is I have given input. So input means you have to enter something, and let's go and give something called 34. For 34, the student is failed. So in the last class, we were seeing only hard coding. Now you accept the parameters, you accept the input from the user, whoever is sitting in front of the system, you accept that and you give a box. In that box, you can make sure that you take the inputs and then you go and display the output. Now, there is a small confusion. Ideally speaking, it should be only input. Ideally speaking, it should be only input. That means you accept the input from the user. Input is a function which accepts the inputs, I mean, input from the user in the runtime. What is runtime? I'm running the code. Suddenly, I want to accept the parameter. I will go and write input. Now, if I go and enter this, it is asking the marks. It is asking the marks. But if I go and enter something called 45 or 55, it's throwing error. If you go and debug the error, this symbol is there, right? This greater or less than symbol here. Actually, by default, this is something which is taking as a parameter as string. So it's saying that this greater the symbol, it's not supported between the instance of string and int. So it's assuming that this is a string value, and we are checking the string value greater than 35, which is incorrect. So just before the input, you write something called integer. So by writing integer, I'm promising Python, hey, don't worry, whatever you send, it is going to be an integer. I'm promising because it doesn't know. Okay, this person may send yes also, right? Yes also. So yes and five both are same. It looks like a very much similar. So I imagine instead of five, that person may send yes. So I may be confused, right? So I don't want, because this is a logic which I've written where I need to check with a number. So you please enter as an integer. So anything you give, let it go and take as an integer. For example, if you give a character, it will not work. But to make sure that whatever the person inputs, it has to go and convert as an integer. Okay. Now, carefully observe. Since we have learned basics, like what basics we have learned, we know how the print statement works, we know how the keywords work, and we have defined a one function, and within the function we have written one simple logic as well, which is if condition, right? Now let's go into the one of the useful logic. Carefully observe. If you can implement this by your own without even seeing it again, you should be able to answer this going forward. Okay. I will write one thing. You tell me what I'm doing. Now I'll execute this function and I'll go and write add 4 comma 3. It gives you 7, right? So what I'm doing, once you are sending two parameters 4 and 3, this 4 and 3 will go and sit here 4 and 3. Okay. After you go, you make sure that 4 and 3 goes here. It is going to get added and it is going to store 7, and I'm going to print. Now instead of print is nothing but it's just going to print the output. So instead of print, I will say return C. I'm going to say return C. The moment if I say return C, suddenly it has flashed with a green color. Whatever flashes with green color in this editor, we know that it's going to be a keyword. So def is a keyword, return is a keyword. Now, I've not written print statement, but let's see what is this return statement will do. So I will go and execute one and the same. But something now it is giving in the left side of the cell, rather than giving as simply blank. Here it used to simply give the blank, right? Whenever I work, whenever I execute, nothing used to come here. But this time it has given something called out. So that means return C is displaying as an output. Don't think too much or overthink what is happening at the cell side. It's not important for us. For us, now I got to know, even you can write a print statement, print of C, or you can just return the results. How to return the results? You have to write a keyword which is called return C, right? You have to just write return C. The moment if you write return C, automatically what will happen? The data that is a result which is stored in the C will be returned outside this function, and that is why you are getting 7. Now I'll pass 41, 31. If I go and execute, and automatically that answer will be displayed. Print of C is someone who is a beginner who is doing, but we are all almost in the first week of Python. Let's make it some interesting and let's make it some good standard. Return C is also way where you can return the results outside the function. Okay, perfect. Listen carefully. Now, this is one function. I will go and write another function. I'll go and write another function. Define sup subtraction a comma b colon and c equal to a minus b return c. This is the third function I'm writing. Define mul a comma b c equal to a star b return c. I'll write another function def div division a comma b colon c equal to a divided by b return c. Now I have written four functions. I have written four functions. Anything which starts with def is actually called as function in Python. So after function, maybe I would be giving the function name and whatever the parameters, and after the colon, you have to write the logic. So see, you write it in one cell, or you in one cell, you write it all four, doesn't matter. It's just a notebook. You're writing notes, right? You have a 2-line notebook. Whether you write only one word or you adjust and write 4 words, who cares, right? Similarly, in one cell, I have written 4 functions. Now I'll go and execute it. Now if I go and write add of 5 comma 3, add of 5 comma 3, I'm going to get 8. Now instead of add, I will go and use subtraction, sup. So it will tell 2. If you tell mul, 15. And if I go and do it as div, I'm going to get the division. So I can either go and do addition, I can go and do subtraction, I can go and do division, multiplication, subtraction, addition. 4 operators I can do. But what I have done, I have implemented 4 functions, and whichever operation you want, you can go and do it. You can go and use it. Okay, very simple, very simple. Okay, you already know how to write a function. You have added 2 functions, subtracted 2 numbers, multiplied 2 numbers, divided 2 numbers. All good. So far, so good. Now, carefully observe. Here, I am giving the numbers like this, right? Divide 5 comma 3. Divide 5 comma 3. Correct? Or I can go and write subtract 5 comma 3 or mul 5 comma 3. So basically it gives you 15. So it's multiplying 5 into 3. It's multiplying and it is returning the output. Now I don't want to give the input like this. I want to accept the input from the user. Let's see how to do it. Just now we have learned how to accept the inputs by using input as the built-in function. So let's achieve that. Print, listen carefully. Enter the first element. Enter the first element. And I'm going to give a equal to int of input like this I'm giving. See, if you understand this line of piece of code, okay, I'm going to write some 5 to 6 lines of code. If you're understanding every line, take it from me, entire Python you will understand. What we are going to do is a one-step complex compared to all this 4-5 days what we learned, and today we are going to take into one extra step. I'll tell you what is my objective. I am going to build one calculator. What do you mean by calculator? You can decide what operations you can do in the runtime only. For example, you open a calculator, you write 5 plus 3, you write 5 into 3. So you write it, right? So depending on that, the same thing, I'm going to build one calculator. Okay. So the entire code, what you're writing here, we are going to build one calculator. Okay. Let's see. I have added, subtracted, multiplication, divided. So I'm accepting the first element from the user. Again, I will go and write print, enter the second element, and I will say b equal to integer of input. It's a built-in function, so I'll make sure this is ready. Okay, the moment I write this, I can simply go and tell a add of a comma b. I'll simply say add of a comma b, because add is something which is a function. So whatever a and b you're giving, it will directly go and sit here. This a and b will go and sit here. Let's say I'm sending 5 plus 3. This will go here and the output will be displayed. Okay, let's go and enter this. It's going to ask the first element 4. It is going to ask the second element 3. And if I go and enter, it is going to display the out 7. Now the reason why only addition is possible, because I have clearly called only the addition function. Okay. Now I will go and do subtraction now. I'll go and do subtraction. Now, if I enter this, I'm entering 5, I'm entering 3, and if I'm getting 2. Now, why? Because I'm giving subtraction. Now, I will accept one more parameter as well. I will accept one more parameter as well. I will say that print enter the operation as well. What operation you want? You enter it. For example, add, subtraction, multiplication, division. So this also you enter. And for that, I have to catch it in the one variable. So operation equal to. So since I am going to enter an operation, right? What operation you want to do it? I will simply give input only. No need of integer. No need of integer. So for the first one, I'm accepting as an input. It has to be an integer because it's obviously numbers, right? So I'll write it. For the operation, someone will go and enter add, subtract, multiplication. That they will go and execute. So I no need to give input. So let me go and run this now. First, I will give 6. Then I'll give 4. Then it is asking enter the operator. I want to go and add. Nothing is coming. Nothing is coming. You are just taking the input, but you have not called the function. Function is already present. Function is already present. This is the function, but this function you are not calling. So what I will do, once you get the output, you are capturing the output. Listen carefully. I already know something called if condition. If operation equal to this time I'm writing 2 equals. It's not like a normal programming language where you check with 1 equal to. Here I'm going to do with a double equal to, and I'll say if someone is entering add, then you please call add of a comma b. If someone enters add, then you call add function. And if I go and write else, and usually it's not a only one condition, right? If or else. No, it's basically many things are there. If not add, if not subtract, if not division, if not multiplication. There are 4 values, right? So we have to write something called else if. You have to write something called else if. But Python comes with a very lazy people. They will club together and they will remove one letter, and they will remove one letter from both the words. ELSE, else if is there, right? Else if is there, right? They will club it and they will remove 2 letters. So now it becomes elif. So elif, I will say operation equal to subtraction. If someone enters subtraction, then you please go and call sub a comma b. One more is there, right? So elif operation equal to mul multiplication, then you please go and call mul a comma b. And finally last one is there, right? For last you write else. For last you write else. Okay, you can write else, or you can even go and give elif only for time being. Since we have learned elif, we will give elif only. Operation division. If someone is entering division, you please go and call the division function. See, don't worry about what is this elif. Again, if it's confusing, today our objective is to implement one calculator. In the future classes, you will also learn what is this if conditions, how many types of if conditions are there, how we can make it better. So for the initial 1 week, our main objective is you need to understand what when all we can do with respect to logics. Okay, now let me go and execute this. Listen carefully what is happening. I'm entering the first element 7. I'm entering the second element 3. I'm entering the operator. It is asking me, you want to add, you want to subtract, you want to multiply, you want to divide. I will go and enter mul. The moment if I write mul, let's see for add. If operation equal to add, you call this add function. Okay, let's do one thing for time being. We'll go and write print of C only. Let's try it. Print of C. Print of C. We'll see why return is not working. Let's make that to be solved. Okay, let's go and enter this. Okay, first element 7, second element 3, operator add. Okay, now you're getting the output 10 you're getting. Okay, again I'll run. Enter the element 10, enter the second element 7. Now you write the operator. Which operator you want to do? Basically, I want to do multiplication. So you're getting 70. Okay. Again, if I want to do subtraction, 69 second element is 9. Which operator you want to do? I want to do subtractor, SUB. Automatically it is giving 69 minus 9, 60. Again, I will do the last one, 6 and 3. I will go and use divide. I'm going to get 2. Now, this is the first calculator we have implemented in Python. What is this calculator doing? It is accepting two inputs from the user. Along with them, it is also asking which operator you want to achieve it. And this, based on this operator, we will just go and get the results. This is what your calculator is also working. You take your calculator, you enter one number plus the operator, again enter the another number, go and enter the equal to symbol, you will get the results. Now, same thing I have done. The same thing I have done. I have made sure that I am asking the user the first element, second element, and entering the operator. And once you enter the operator, it will check whether you have given add or you have given subtract or you have given multiplication or you have given division. So in this operator, it is accepting which operator has to be done from the user, and it is storing in the operator variable. In this operator variable, I am checking now, is the operator value consist of add function if you have entered and. If you have entered add, it will simply go and call add function. If you have entered subtraction, it will simply go and call subtraction. If you call multiplication, it will go and call multiplication, else it will go to division. Whatever you have written here, add, subtract, multiple, division, it will directly go and look for these functions. In the functions, I have written the actual logic. How multiplication should happen, A star B. How division should happen, A slash B. This is how we have written. We have implemented our first calculator. We've implemented our first calculator, right? So you can go and give any numbers, it will still work. Okay, last test, 99. Enter the second element, 11. Here you decide whether you give operator add, subtract, multiplication, division. So it is showing you have to select one among this. For example, if I go and give adding, nothing will work. Why? There is no function I have written called adding. I've never written adding. I have just written add function only. So you have to specifically give 99, 11, add. Directly it will go to add function. So this operator, what I'm giving add, right? It will go and call the add function. In the add function, what I've written the logic, it will go and give a comma b, and the result is going to be displayed. This is how you can make your calculator better. Now I'll make even more neat and clean. Rather than entering the operator like this, I will start entering the actual calculator. Plus, minus, multiplication, and division. So that means you enter either plus, minus, star, or hash. You give this, and here I will write if it is equal to plus, you go and execute this. If it's subtraction, you go and execute this. If it's multiplication, you go and execute this. If it's division, you go and execute this. Now let's try. Okay, let's keep on running. Just let's please restart the kernel. Enter the first element, 7. Enter the next element, 3. What operator you want to do? I want to do plus 10. Simple. Now this gives a calculator look. 7, 3, operator minus. So 7 minus 3, 4. Or you can do one thing. First you accept this operator, then you give the second element. Now also you can do it. Enter the first element, 85. Enter the operator, I want to multiply. Enter the second element, 10. You'll get the result as 850. You can make it even more better. So many things you can do. For example, here you have written only print, right? You can write some content. The adding the result of two numbers, adding two numbers, just put C. You can make it better. Here, the result of subtraction of two numbers, comma. Okay, and I'll copy paste it. The result of multiplication of two numbers is C. And again, I'll say the result of division of two numbers is C. I'm making it better. See, slowly I'm trying to see if you're cooking something. First, you will try to get proper taste. Then what you will do, you'll adjust according to the salt or any colors you want to put or whatever you want. You do it at the end, right? Presentation. That's what I'm doing. Logic is
One bracket
implemented.
not added,
Now
Santosh.
I'm adding a presentation. Yeah, one extra bracket is there. So let's remove it. Okay. Now let me run this. This is fine. Now let me go and execute this. It is asking, this is a typical calculator that we have implemented. Now I will go and write, enter the first element 6, enter the operator multiply, enter the second element 4. The result of multiplication of two numbers is 24. This looks an ideal calculator. This looks like an ideal calculator. Are we good? Yes. Is it difficult? Today we have built one calculator. Is it difficult? Okay, let me show you one more thing. Let me show you one more thing. And this is my best friend. Okay, now let's say that I need to build one calculator. This is my best friend. I need to build one calculator in Java by accepting inputs from the user. Surely I can explain you with that. Something they are giving. But if you go and see here, this is unwanted line for us. This is not required. This is not required. This is not required. And these people are also giving simple calculator and they're asking enter the first number. Of course, even we have written enter the first number, enter the first number. And they are accepting some scanner. I don't know what is this double, next double. I don't know all this. So they're accepting. In my case, it's only input. And next they're accepting operator. Whether you want to end this operator, again they're asking some scanner next character at 0. I don't know what it is. And there here they're writing the logic. Compared to Java, starting from here until it's like doing here, now I have made it better by using Python. First, I've written each and every function, right? And I was able to capture the input. And finally, I'm able to display it. One more example, enter the first element 24 or 64, enter division, enter the second element 16, 64 divided by 16 will give you 4. See, this is a typical calculator that we have built. Nothing. I have used the function. I have used if conditions. Based on the if conditions, you call that function. That is what it is. If you are able to, this is a challenge, open challenge to you. You see the video n number of times. Okay. Once the session is completed, you see the video n number of times. If you're able to implement without a single mistake, without seeing, you have crossed the first hurdle. You have crossed the first step. 1 week of Python, understanding the basics, you have got. So the first logic which you have implemented in Python will be one calculator. One calculator. And that calculator is what we have implemented here. Will you all go and do this? That's what I'm saying. You watch the video n number of times, but I want you to do it without even seeing the script. I want you to write it by your own. If you are able to write this, if you are able to write this, if you are able to write this, this is what is your first calculator. This is your first calculator. Defining 4 functions and asking for first element, asking for the operator, asking for the second element, and depending on the operator, you call specific function. If you are giving plus, you call plus function. If you are giving minus, give subtraction function. If you are giving star, you ask for multiplication. You give slash, it's for division function. As simple as that. Will you all do it? This is your first assignment in Python. I want everyone to have a user defined calculator. Whatever operator I give, it has to give me the calculations. Will you all do it? Okay. Now, since we have built the first logic. Let's go into the deeper. Why Python? That's where today you will get answer. Okay, that's where you will get the answer. Now let's check how we can do this. I will ask some questions. You tell me, oh, somewhere I have heard this, somewhere I have like explored this. Okay, all this you need to tell me. Let's go back and rewind for some time. Trigonometry, sine theta, cos theta, tan theta, cot theta, integration, differentiation, Fourier series. Where have you heard these words? 10 standard, 11 standard, 12 standard, or even if you're coming from a CBSE, you would have heard this from 7th standard or 8th standard. Okay. My favorite subject is maths. I like maths like anything, right? And I think I've told you my story as well. My focus was towards sports and I've played with some of the players. I've told you the story. Now, when I was in this phase, every day I was on field only. I used to go for practice. I never used to study. Without even studying, I used to score centum in maths. 100 out of 100, I used to score. All the other subjects, border 35, 34, 35, 34. But maths, 100 out of 100. The reason is I like the maths teacher. The way she teaches, it was very good, right? My maths teacher was very fond of teaching. If she teaches everything, you will remember forever, right? That type of teaching. She used to do some comedy, she used to do some sense of humor, and she used to remember, I mean, she used to tell some like remembering how to remember. If you see that integration symbol, right, it will be like a snake symbol, that integration symbol. So she used to tell us, you can remember like this. So that's why I like maths. She used to tell me, okay, Santhosh, I was her favorite student. So she used to tell me, listen, you learn this trigonometry, you learn this differentiation, Fourier series, all this you keep learning because you will use this for rest of your life. She said this, I still remember that words. 2007, 2008, so that's where I was like 9th standard or 10th standard, 2008 I think. So 2008, okay, 2008 is my 10th standard, 2010 is my 12th standard, 2014 is my graduation, BE graduation. So this is what, to 2008, I still remember my teacher used to tell, you learn differentiation, integration, and all this Fourier series and all, it will be very important and you will use it forever. And that time, how crazy I was is, I used to write it on the paper and paste it all over my wall. Whenever I walk, I go and see the formulas. Remember, what is sine theta, what is cos theta, what is tan theta, what is differentiation, what is the integration. All this I used to write a formula and I used to by heart it. Because since my teacher has told, right, 2008, okay, 15 years down the words, I have still never used in my real time. Have you people used? Have you ever got a chance to use integration, differentiation, Fourier series, etc., etc., etc.? Not it. I'm still waiting with hopes. I'm still waiting with hopes. Let's see when we will use that. My teacher told me in 2008 that I will be using this, but unfortunately, till now, I have never used it. Now, imagine that I want to perform some complex mathematic functions. This is just a normal calculator. And imagine I want to implement some scientific calculator. A scientific calculator is too much. You can do a lot of things. Square root you can do. You can do like cos theta, sine theta, everything you can do, right? Now, I'm a data engineer, right? Actually, I think I asked you this question as well. Which profession is considered as a most privileged one, most pride profession? Teaching. In respect to IT, right? In respect to IT, if you say that I'm a developer, that's a privilege, right? If you're saying that, yes, I'm at testing, maybe people don't value that much. If you say I'm working in production support, people even don't even respect you. That's the hierarchy. The developers always will be given high importance. Even in development role, there are a lot of things: software development, web development, data analyst, data scientist, all this. But if you ask me, the one which is in demand today is data engineer. So if you proudly say that you're a data engineer, people will see, what, are you data engineer? Now that type of reactions we get in the market. Now let's assume that within IT, within software, we have data engineering to be the most privileged profession. Okay, now I need to prove them right. Being a data engineer, why will I go and write a calculator? Right? Why don't I use it? I will not write each and every logic. I am not here to write each and every logic. Now we need to understand that by using Python, I am going to utilize what they already have. Now, for the first time, I am going to write one thing. I'm going to write one thing. I will write something called import import math. I'm writing something called import and I'm writing something called math. I'm writing something called math. Okay. Now I will ask you one question. I will write math and I'll enter dot and I'll press tab. So automatically there are a lot of things are coming. Okay. I'm getting lot of values. Let's say I'll go and select sine. So math of sine of, let's see who will remember this. What is sine 90 value? Sine 90 is 0.89 something, it's coming. Don't ask me what is this. Okay, we are not going to go back to 10th standard. Already my 10th standard teacher, I'm still not able to forget her face just because she said that. It will be used forever. I've never even experienced this. But I've also got to know where we use this. The recent example, Chandrayaan 3. How the angle is calculated, in which direction it is going, and how it is reading it. All this works in mathematics only. Maybe what I am saying is 2008 to 2023, I did not get chance to use it. Being a data engineer, what I will do with a sine theta or a cos theta, for me, what is really required is a data that is coming from different systems to create a pipeline. Maybe I did not experience, but a lot of applications which completely depends on integration, differentiation, Fourier series, sine theta, cos theta, trigonometry. All this is important. Simply no one has told. Okay, even today also I'll tell these are all important, but what? For not for me, right? It is not for me, but it could be useful for other calculations. Okay, sine theta, I've got it. Let me go and write math dot. And I was just going through. I heard something called factorial. If I just enter something, it's throwing an error. Math dot factorial takes exactly one argument. Okay, let me give 5. Factorial of 5 is 120. Now I'll tell you, I'll ask this question. It's 11th standard mathematics textbook question. What is factorial? What do you mean by factorial? Factorial of 5, it's giving 120. What is this? What does a factorial do? In short, a factorial is a function that multiplies a number by every number below it is still 1. For example, the factorial of 3 represents a multiplication of 3 into 2 into 1. So if you see here, factorial of 5 is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, it's 120. Factorial of 6 is 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 1. Who will go and write this logic? I can simply go and use a function called factorial. Okay, now let me go and give math dot. I don't know whether you people have heard about this LCM. Have you heard about LCM? Now tell me, what is the answer for LCM?
20.
20.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 20.
If you
LCM.
say wrong answer, I'll push it back to your 10th standard only. You pass your 10th standard and you come back. If you say wrong answer. Are you confident? I don't want to give such an easy number. Now tell me, who is confident of giving this right answer? Functions, okay? Built-in functions. So don't go and complain. What is this Santhosh is teaching mathematics here? He's asking what is LCM, GCD, factorial non. The purpose of this explanation is I wanted to understand what exactly is there in this math library so that I'm able to use LCM of 6, 18 will give you 18. Don't ask me how LCM is calculated. I've completely forgotten. I don't know how it is calculated. People who told 18, I think you can tell us how it is calculated, but it's not required. It's not required, right? Now, I'll tell you one thing. In one of the interview, they asked me, can you write a LCM code? Seriously, I'm saying, having 10 years of experience, I was not able to write LCM. You know why? It's not because I don't know coding. It's because I don't know how it was calculated. I still don't know how 18 came. I forgot. Somewhere in the 7th or 8th standard, I learned this, right? But Now all the hard work is done. Now you have to go with the smart work. What is the difference between hard work and smart work? Okay, so hard work is something which you are spending entire day and trying to achieve it. But why will I go and write a logic for LCM? I will never even try. I'm saying it right. I will never even try to write a logic for LCM. Not required for me. I have a built-in function. Someone has already have implemented it. You go and use it. See, imagine you want to build a brand new car. You want to build a brand new car, like let's say Audi or BMW. Anyone in this group is having Audi or BMW? Anyone in this group is we have 90 plus people. Do anyone have Audi or BMW? Anyone?
No one is having.
No, no.
I can read your mind actually. If I have BMW, why will I come and sit in your class? Right? That's what you're. If I have a BMW, if I have an Audi car, why will I come and sit in your boring class? That will be your mindset. Now, in the BMW or Audi car, they can come with a new features. They can enhance it. They may have automatic brakes. They may have an automatic drive. Everything will happen. But one thing which will never change is wheel. The wheels, the tires have already been invented years back. 40, 50 years back, or even 100 years back, they've already invented this wheel. Tires, we are reusing it. You never go and introduce a new wheel, a new design. We all know that wheel is in a circular shape, right? It's a round circle. Are we going to design in any other shape? No, it's already there. You are reusing it. That's why I'm saying it. There is no need of reinventing the wheel. It's already there. You use it. That's why I'm saying you don't go and struggle to write a logic for LCM. It's already there. It's already there in a library. Someone is a very good known person to us. He has implemented a functions and he has put into a library. What libraries he has put? He has put into a math library. And by using this math library, I can even go and get a sine theta, cos theta, tan theta, integration, square root, do whatever you want. Why are you going and struggling to write the logic? And that's the power of Python. Going forward, don't think too much of writing how to write the logic. Instead, you check whether this logic is applicable or it's available in an existing library and then start going and using it. Simple. Going forward, anything you want, you first try to understand whether it exists or not. This function exists or not. LCM, yes. If it is exist, go and use it. Okay. Now, let's go and check with multiple functions. Math is okay, right? Now let's see. GCD. I seriously don't know what is GCD. It's giving GCD 1. If it's put 8, I don't know what is this GCD. I don't know what is this LCM. Not required, but I know there is an existing function. And then I will say, what is log value? Do you know what is logarithm? At least this you tell. Have you ever used logarithm in the last 10-15 years of your career? In your mathematics teacher would have told, hey, learn logarithm. It will be useful for rest of your years. Are you using? Even I have not got a chance to use it. Logarithm of 1 is 0. Logarithm of 100 to something I'm getting. I really don't know how I'm getting. I remember only one. There will be one book, okay, where you can go and easily find log 2, log 10. You can go and you have to see horizontal, you have to see vertical, you have to take that value. Do you all remember that?
Yes.
Okay, thank God you all remember. Okay, logarithm is done. Now let's go try to find out some known functions for us. Logarithm. Okay, there is something called POW, and I'll say that I'll give 3. It is throwing error because I'm also doing for the first time, right? I'm also doing for the first time. Who will go and use all this function? So I don't know. I gave one parameter. It is throwing an error. POW expected 2 arguments. I got 1. That's what I'm saying. If you want to master Python, you know if you know English, you can really easily go and write it. Any student, okay, any student, even if you're 5th standard, if you go and understand this error, you will fix it automatically. What it is saying? Power expected 2 arguments, got 1. So that means I will give 3, 2. I'm getting 9. How I am getting 9?
3
3
square.
into 3.
3
3
power
3
2.
square. 3
3
power
into
3 power. This one, 3 multiplied by 4 times. Okay. Now this is about power. So let's go and get the another function. We have implemented till power and after power, I hope you know perimeter. Okay, sine theta, square root. Yeah, this is what which I required. What is the square root of 64?
8.
8. That is also correct. Okay, square root is also working fine. After square root, okay. So these are all the functions which you have. Do you all remember what is this pi value? What is this 3.14? I've used in most of the calculations, like calculate the perimeter of a triangle, perimeter of a circle. I used to use this formula. But what exactly is this pi? What exactly means by this pi? 22 by 7. I understand why it is not 20 by 7. Why it is not 15 by 7. Why it is only 22 by 7 is my question. Now come back to our requirement. Now one thing we are very much satisfied now is Python is very easy. No need to write certain functions. Already it is there. You just need to go and use it. Maybe this math function has quite a some time, I mean quite a few functions, like 20-25 functions. You go and use it, you use it, you will get an error, read the error, go and apply the parameters. It is accepting 2 parameters or 1 parameter, go and do it. And that's the beauty of Python. Now today I'm telling you, if you want to apply any logic, the first thing which you need to understand is, does this logic really exist or not? If it exists, use it. If not, then you write it. Okay. Now let's talk about data engineering. For data engineering, we are again going to learn some libraries. Whatever you learned for first 4 days, right? Maybe like a small functions and all. We may be writing that, but we may be writing with respect to data engineering. I'm not going to write any function like sine theta, cos theta, tan theta, integration, differentiation, trigonometry. Never. But what is required for my data engineering? First thing is I will check, oh, is this really existing? If it is existing, let me use it. If not, let me go and write my own logic. I know how to define a function. I know how to write a if condition, and I know how to define a variable. I will start my coding. This is our first step. Successfully, we have learned Python for 5 days, which definitely will be a good beginning for you. As a next step, if you want to start your car, you always have to start from your first gear. Once you start the first gear, if you go, like let's say 40-50 meters, you will go to the second gear. You'll start pressing the accelerator. Same way, we have completed our first gear. Now we are going back to the second gear. From next week onwards, from next class onwards, we are going to learn much more deeper, much more concepts, and we are going to dive into data engineering Python. The initial 1 week was completely to set up the foundation for you. People think, hey, no, coding is difficult. Coding is something which only people who are coming from computer science background has to go and learn. People who are coming from IIM or IIT, only they need to learn. People who are coming from only computer science has to learn. Well, stop thinking all about this. Anyone can learn Python, and I've shown you all 5 days the practical examples for you that anyone can become a coder. Go write a calculator function, then you are also called a programmer. How your calculator works, the same logic you have implemented in your Python. You are a programmer, you are a coder. Who said it's difficult? There is nothing like impossible here. Anyone can write, anyone can spend. One person rightly said, when I asked this question, is it really difficult? He said, it's not difficult, but what really requires is practice, right? If you are like standing outside and if you see the swimming pool, it looks really good. Chlorine water, clean, blue color, the sky's color you can see in the water, everything is good, everything is clean, well maintained. But unless and until you jump, you will never know what is a deep, how depth it is, how cold it is, how warm it is. You can never judge that. Start jumping into the notebook, start writing. That's the best way to learn. Okay. With that, we are stopping here. We have completed the first 5 free sessions as well. People who have registered, people who have joined before, don't worry. But people who have joined as a free session, we are coming to end of the demo classes. Now it's time for you to make some decision. Now we do have Saturday, Sunday, we do have time. If you have missed any of the classes, go back, watch the recordings and get registered for Monday's class. From Monday, the 8 o'clock session, which is the current time, only registered people will be allowed. People who are registered, you will be able to attend the class. People who have not registered, definitely you will not be getting link anymore. You will be able to attend only from our app. For the last 5 days, if you have understood all the logics, if you're okay that, okay, yes, something I can learn, right? If you have a confidence like, okay, at least I'm getting something, I can practice it, I can learn, take a decision. Or if you say that, no, I'm completely not understanding, yes, there's always a decision that you can make. With that, we'll stop here.